Hello, my friends, and everybody else around the world. I bet you are listening very eagerly nowadays after thousands and thousands of videos from me. I'm sitting here drinking coffee, talking about a lot of things that has been in my mind. Not only in my mind, it have been subjects that have been important earlier on in my life, but in the continuous task with these videos is to understand time, because we have just a word time and we don't know what it is. I drink coffee, I do this, I do that. Maybe I don't do it at all. It's within the gap which we have our experience on. So when we are talking about certain things that God, if he exists or not, we are way off limit. And does God exist? That is a question of time. I have this classical music, Forever Classic channel. Yeah, maybe I can cool it down. So today is about God's existence or not. Maybe that is a good topic anyway, because I don't like to talk about God, but still we wonder, we ask, we search, where is God? But God is, it's a new thought this today, because God obviously is of a different kind. Now I put some dots together. So let us see how this is going. God. I talked here just some days ago that we are more than you see. We are entities. So the mind, the thought, isn't in the material. It is between the. It is in the spacing in the material. It's way off. Like if you burn a wood, you see that the energy is vaporing up. It can be very intense and it glows like that, because it's ignited with something to it that is burning. And we live our body in our bodies. We see it in animals and all these material things that we know is all about energy. The name of the the ingredients in the matter is energy, and you can't see energy. You can't see the. When you go deep into things, it's kind of getting into a void that you don't know how to define, or you don't know how to figure it out in so many ways. You ask questions and you see trees and people and dogs and everything, water, grass, and heaven and earth and everything. You see it, and you think You can prove it. But when you go deep into this matter that we are talking about, it open up like a universe of itself that you can't really touch it. It's it's gap, it's space, it's something, and that is the energy of the material. And as I am told that everything is held up, it's contained in a kind of vibration. So it is what it is because of its own vibration. I'm so limited into this kind of subject that I shouldn't speak so confident of it. But don't trust me, trust the science, that everything is all about energy. And when we come into the case of God, it's let me continue a little bit on the subject of matter, because over time is have a double side to it. With the time you can plant a seed and it will grow. You can inject sperm into the fetus and it will start being a human, and it's kind of a blooming time. But after a while, and it's the same time, in the same time you have these other qualities to time, that you get fatigued, you get old, things is draining down by its own gravitation. And I think it's kind of an interesting subject, because you see things in perspective of time. So if the time wasn't there, would the material be there? I don't really think so, because the material that we are talking about can't exist outside of time. If it's a non-time, the science have to prove me wrong. I'm looking forward to that. But if the time was standing still, like no vibration, no nothing, everything will be out, part of the space, and the space is all about time, space. If you have heard of it, you will know what I'm talking about, because who came first, the time or the space? So they say that the space came first, and I don't know, I have no clue about that, but the space is obviously all about time. And if you go into the deepest thing in matter, you will see that there is space that doesn't contain any matter. It's just space. And you see that over time everything is changing. It's a kind of a fluctuation, change of material. All that is there is changing into some different form. Like water, it is vaporing up all the time. The water that is fresh is just the rain that have been falling down, and the vapor from the water is the cleanest water ever. So the water will never be old, like dull or different taste. Of course, water tastes what it is contained in, but Water in itself is so clean, and it have this ability to clean the air, to clean everything. So when when the water is cleaning, when the rain is falling, the air is even cleansed, because it's taking all the toxicity down to earth, and the earth may need that kind of toxication in order to do what it always do. So God, when we talk about God, we talk about a certain entity, like a physical entity. I don't believe so. It that kind of idea is departing from my conscience and my my awareness, or whatever it is, my belief that God is some material matter. So that is kind of existence that we are not talking about physical and existence, because if God exists in some way or form, it have to be beyond the time itself, because the space, out of some nothing, the space began. So we can't talk about God within the realm of space. The the God we are talking about is beyond the space that we are talking about. But that doesn't mean that God is outside some place. It's, it's just within. It's within the energy, the everything that is everything. So how can we conclude that? I don't really have a clue, but it can come to our ability to view things from a perspective that God may exist in a realm that we can't see, because it is non-physical. It can't be physical because it's outside our space and time. So, and maybe God is the space. Who knows? Because the space has so much energy. So, who knows? The space that we are talking about, we think that, oh, we can't see God. No, of course not. What is there to see when you can see it all? This is a kind of a intellectual, spiritual contemplation, reflection, because we need to sometimes sit down and think. As an atheist, as a believer, or whatever you may be, you have to think outside your own ability to define. And the moment that the time you are defining is within your own limitation. It's outside. Everything that we have to define is outside our own space, our own limitations. So when we are talking about physical thing, in some degree, I don't believe they exist. If I see a tree, a person, dog, or whatever that is, I, on some level, I can't believe it exists, because in a non-time environment, so to say, how to say it, I don't know, but in a non-time environment, you can't see anything. If there is something to see, it's what we see now. That is created by time. It is a time. It's a time constitution, or time has defined what we are seeing. It's, as we know, let me put it in a simple thing, a simple word, like I have these vitamins and the lock is exactly fitted to the gauge here, so I can put it on, and when I put it on like this, it will be tight. The tablet, which you can hear, they don't fall out. Maybe I take some tablets, it's zinc, but today it's only one, because two is a little bit too much. So you can go to your eyes, which see exactly what it's meant to see. I think I have touched on that subject before, but it is it's quite important to repeat something that may have been stuck, because I have to chew them. The eyes, the taste on your mouth, the ear is specifically designed to see, to taste, to hear exactly what it's designed for. So you have this spectre of light that catches the eye in order for me to see things. So the environment outside is just a reflection of my ability to see that. And so is the ear. The ear is designed. When you talk about design or whatever it is, you may believe whatever you want, but I call it design because it's adjusted exactly to what you are able to hear. And all what you hear is just a reflection on the impact of what you hear. It's your sensitivity and your experience of your hearing, that is the case. You can't prove any sound outside your own hearing. No, you can't. If you hear it, you hear it, and no one can dispute it. And so that's the taste. And it's harder to define the taste, but you know that you are tasting something. Even water. They say that water is tasteless, but I will prove you wrong, because I can taste different kind of water. Obviously, that is an obvious case. Somebody is making a noise here. So that was the noise I'm talking about. We can hear it. It's planted in the beton. This noise. So even you can hear it. And you can't disprove it. It's just what you hear, and you hear it the way you hear it. It's just adjusted to how you are configured in your ear, your taste, your eyes. So what I'm talking about is exactly the instrument. That is a good word for it. Our instrument of seeing, hearing and tasting is adjusted to exactly our life, how we see things. And when you say that I haven't seen an angel, I haven't seen God, no, because you are not adjusted to see those entities. You are not, even the time you are within, the time frame you are within, you can't grasp outside that time. Grasp outside that ability to hear, see and taste. Outside that, there is limitless what you can what you are not able to experience. So what if God just put a one side to it? If God is in a spectre of light that you can't see, and you say, I can't prove God, so I have to go out and touch him, maybe I will hear him, maybe I will taste him, maybe. But if the sight doesn't confirm that there is God there, now you have a problem. You can't prove what you can't see. So obviously the atheists are dependent on their ability, the sensory organs. Me, by the way, I like to think outside the box, as my friend often say about me. That is okay. So when we are tasting, we taste what we taste. And God is not there exactly if we don't really put our mind to it, but maybe our sensitive senses, 5 senses, are adjusted exactly to what we can experience. Our pleasure, our pain, suffering, everything is in our sensory organs. It's nothing outside that for a human. But if we are talking about God, why do you have the rudeness to yourself, arrogance to yourself, that you can say God doesn't exist when you are so limited, when the human condition is so limited? That is kind of an obvious case. And I really wonder how the atheists can really say with, with conviction that God doesn't exist. Of course, the notion of God comes from the Bible. There were people there that was writing about God. I wouldn't dare to do that, but that is a different topic. So the notion of God, the concept of God, stems from the Bible. You can't talk about a God outside that realm. No, the God concept is biblical. It's from the Jews. It's all from the Abraham that talked with God, Adam that talked with God, and you can't talk about something you don't already know what it is. No, God is the biblical God, and they choose to call it God, Yahweh, Jesus, or whatever people are calling things. I don't pay so much attention to that. But when it's written that God revealed himself for Moses, what was that? What was Moses seeing? Yes, he saw a burning bush. Burning bush. And when Israel went out of Egypt, they said that a cloud followed them and a burning fire followed them. Cloud and a burning fire. Burning fire at night, I would believe, as it's written. I think, I don't remember, but and a tall cloud, dark, tall cloud, because God was in that fire and mist. That's how Israel could see him. Non-defined, non-definable entity. What a great entity to serve. He gave them even commandments, so they couldn't. It was written that Moses judged all day, and his father-in-law advised him to put more judges and advisors, so he shouldn't judge all day. Because I think because of all this judging, Moses couldn't enter the land of Israel. That is a different topic. I'm wrong there, but he gave the commandment in order for people to judge themselves. So the entity, the paradigm of God, isn't that so? It's obvious at the same time that it's not so obvious. You can't depend on your own self to define God. You can't depend on yourself because it's outside time, space, and matter. Matter, we know, have this vaporizing ability to it. It changes over time. When the tree falls down from the seed to the tree, then it falls down, then it becomes earth or soil again. It have gone through all these changes with leaves and everything, and it gives more energy. It just preserve and nourish the earth in order to give more nourishment to the new plants and vegetation. So it's soil and energy. It gives more than it was in the initial time. So that's how great things is. Seeds that grow themselves. And how many seeds does a tree bear after its own lifespan? Wow, that's even an apple with all these seeds inside. So, my friends, God is an interesting topic because if we could just touch it like this, no problem, no problem. God you can touch, but you touch him all the time. You see him all the time. You smell, you hear all the time. Because he made your sensory organ in order to let you understand that even though you are limited, with all these abilities, these instruments, you are made perfect to live in an environment that is not so perfect, that gives you demands, and you will grow, you will be nourished by all that is given, even material matter, all the things that we can do and eat and rely on. It's all nothingness in a certain level, but it is something that we can keep as a blessing. So my friends, have a good day. This was long enough, so I wish you all the best, and think outside the box. It's always nice to know that there is more to it than meets the eye and meets your eye. And let us now believe in the future.